Greetings War Thunderers, this is Longshot with another beginner's guide video where I look at situational awareness. It is one of the most important skills to develop in War Thunder. If you're aware of your surroundings, you won't be blindsided by planes you didn't see coming. Instead, you'll be the one catching the enemy off guard. Good situational awareness is the key to being able to regularly shoot down multiple planes while keeping your own plane intact. So how do you get good situational awareness? Quite simply by looking round a lot, with full 360-degree sweeps and checking above and beneath your plane, and doing this continually during a battle. It's a habit, developed with practice over time, and like any habit, you have to start by consciously working at it. So let's begin. You look around by using the mouse look feature, which by default is the C key. As soon as you press it, moving the mouse will shift the camera in whatever direction you like, while the plane keeps flying straight ahead. I'll just show you where it is in the control setup. Into the view section, and there it is halfway down. If you don't want to use C, choose a key or a mouse button that feels intuitive to you and is easy to access as you'll be using it all the time. A little further down are key bindings that let you immediately look in set directions such as left, right, behind your plane and so on. I don't use these because they add too many keystrokes for me to keep up with, and I find them disorienting. For me, mouse look does the job. Scrolling further down, there's the look speed, which I have set at 6%, which suits me, but may not work for you. You'll need to experiment and find a speed which lets you quickly scan the camera around without having to move the mouse too far on your mousepad, but not so quickly that everything becomes a blur. Okay, so during a battle, especially an arcade battle where there are so many planes in the sky, I try to look around every few seconds. In fact, if I spend longer than 10 seconds or so without looking around, I get that uncomfortable feeling that I'm about to be attacked. So, when you're next in a battle, make a practice of checking your six, looking above and below, and sweeping the horizon for any threats. Even do this as you're approaching an enemy to attack them, as that's when you're often at your most vulnerable. And you should not only note the positions of enemies, but of friendlies as well. That way you'll be able to avoid common mistakes such as getting isolated or getting stuck in a kill train. In fact, I've set the colour of friendlies to bright blue to make it easier for me to see them, as I often found the dark blue hard to see against the ground. Moving along, we also have the radar map in the top right, and you do need to be referring to it constantly. If there's a red dot in the area near you, you need to take it seriously. But keep in mind that the radar is no substitute for the C key. The radar tells you nothing about a plane's altitude, its type or its relative speed, nor is every plane shown on the radar. If someone's diving at you from out of the sun, for example, or approaching from behind and below, they often will not be visible on the radar. You can only see them if you look in their direction. However, that's not the whole story. You can maneuver using the keyboard while holding the C key, but then if you let the C key go, look what happens. The camera snaps back to the direction of your plane, which can be terribly disorienting, and that's not what you need in combat. Here's the thing. If you're using the keyboard for your elevators, which control pitch, or your rudder, which controls yaw, mouse aim becomes disabled when you press that key, the same as it is when you press the C key. I'll demonstrate. I'll hit the up elevator key to put my plane into a loop. And while it's doing that, I'll move the mouse around. The plane keeps looping. It doesn't try to follow the mouse, and it won't do so until I let go of the elevator key. And when I do let it go, then mouse aim kicks in and guides the plane toward where I've got the cursor pointing. So this allows me to keep a close eye on enemy planes when I'm in a dogfight, and to switch between keyboard and mouse aim without that annoying snapback that you get with the C key. I recommend firing up a custom battle as I've done here, where you can fight against AI biplanes. Just choose a plane as a target and practice pulling maneuvers with your keyboard while keeping your view centered on that plane. It'll very quickly become second nature for you. There's one more option, and I'll just duck back into the control setup. The tracking camera, which I have set to left mouse button. I'm not sure what it is by default though. This only works when you have an enemy selected. It immediately points the camera in the enemy's direction and zooms in at the same time, and then, like the C key, it flicks back when you let it go. I especially find this useful when I'm approaching blackout due to G-forces in order to keep track of where a selected plane is. Lastly, I want to stress the importance of continually watching enemies when they're on your six, and this is not an easy skill. In fact, many players don't have this mastered, and it's something I still struggle with myself despite years of playing this game. And that's because my instincts are shouting at me to look forward in the direction I'm flying rather than to look backwards while maneuvering my plane. Generally, you have to use the C key for this, but while looking back, you can still maneuver the plane with your keyboard, and because you can see the enemy, you can adjust to whatever they're doing and avoid their shots far more effectively than if you didn't have your eyes on them. And I'll give you an example, and this is an expert player by the name of Messerschmitt. It's from a realistic battle, and he has two P-51s about to dive on him. He uses the C key to watch the enemy, and then presses up elevator and rolls the plane at the same time to keep out of the enemy's gun sights. And because the P-51's faster with its dive speed, it eventually overshoots. He can follow it with the camera as it goes past him, and now he's looking forward, he can let go of the C key and mouse aim helps him get the kill. And then he repeats exactly the same process with the second P-51. I've included a link to Messerschmitt's full video in the description text. I strongly suggest checking it out along with his other videos. So that's situational awareness. Start with using the C key frequently so that it becomes second nature. Practice looking around without using C when performing keyboard maneuvers, and placing the cursor to help your plane transition back to mouse aim smoothly when you let go of the keyboard. And when in combat, keep your view fixed on your enemies, don't take your eyes off them, but don't forget to look around regularly for new threats even in the middle of a dogfight. The next vids in my Beginner's Guide series look at energy fighting, which is very important even in arcade. So, good hunting, and until my next video, I will see you in the skies.